It's woke.
And I'm going to my refrigerator and I'm starting to ask the question, was this ketchup bottle?
A term used in reference to people who are informed, alert, engaged in social and political issues. You know, what 85% of the population thinks the term stands for while simultaneously overriding the original focus. Which isn't surprising when considering the nature of things when they become a social media trend today on Elon Musk's internet. So, what's being overwritten and juked for the sake of trendiness? The focal point of increased intelligence within the Black community. As a whole, this movement was about staying informed and conscious about the issues that affect the Black population, about understanding the historical and cultural context of those issues, and about taking action to promote change, primarily in the United States. To tackle this complicated topic, I had to take it back to grade school and sit in the cool section. So I got the Back of the Bus podcast to chime in real fast. Yo fellas, go ahead and introduce yourself for people in the front.
What's good, y'all? This is Marcus from Back of the Bus podcast.
And it's your boy Josh.
Kaizoku, appreciate you having us on.
All right, let's load it up. Woke consciousness specifically arose during the earlier 20th century, withstanding the test of time as an interpersonal state of awareness among the Black community in the States. Woke as a stand-in for the word awoke, like many popular terms in AAVE that mirror the same sentiment, like for instance, don't sleep, was allegedly coined during the 1930s, specifically for Black Americans traveling throughout the segregated South and avoiding, them. Which I presume would inevitably spark the creation of the Green Book in order for such terms to not be recognized by them.
Who is the they?
The they are them. Because them are they, because they are always looking at us.
The term stay woke was often used in lyrics by a blues musician from the South by the name of Lead Belly to also spread awareness for Black listeners during the mid-20th century.
So I made this little song about down there, so I advise everybody to be a little careful when they go along through that, but stay woke, keep their eyes open.
Focusing strictly on Black issues and was never associated with outside ideologies such as diversity, tokenism in the media, LGBT lifestyle, and feminism. The overall understanding of those using the term was strictly on developing the intellectual capacity and strength of the Black community itself. This means teaching, promoting knowledge and skills that can be used to increase the economic and social standing of the Black population. It also means advancing ideas and strategies such as employment initiatives and community advocacy that can help to counter systemic racism and inequality. Basically, what many of y'all nowadays would associate with conscious rappers and the ever so popular meme of our generation, the infamous Hotep.
Hey, yo, Sleven, let me hop in real quick. He gives us a great example here of how the co-opting of a word like woke plays out in the long run. If you were, say, an 80s or a 90s baby, and you were to ask your parents what a Hotep was, I believe the common attribute for most would be that of quintessential Blackness. The personification and culmination of thousands of years of African history and another 400 or so years of enslaved Africans turned free Black Americans. Now it just kind of means Black opinion I don't really care for.
That's right. The goddamn NBA is a suspect.
Once a designation that acted as a cultural unifier is now a scathing critique. Now ask yourself, who would want to destroy any connection between enlightened Black Americans and their brothers and sisters on the continent? Or even better, who stands to gain from it the most?
All right. I think I got it from here. All of this seemed to be understood until recent years, primarily in the early 2010s during the booming social media age. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook would become where the word woke really started to spread amongst our communities online, especially after we began to witness multiple cases of extreme injustice, including multiple tragic killings of Black men by the hands of the police, such as the cases of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown. It seemed like every week we were getting introduced to new words and terms like Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot, and I can't breathe. During this trying time for the Black community, many began to become much more aware of the social climate and many of the inequalities and discrimination happening in the country. People started to idealize what they thought was cool in being woke. more people started to become woke. Many artists like Erykah Badu and Childish Gambino took the opportunity to popularize the term stay woke far beyond the black community. This resurgence of the woke movement also recognized the need for black people to be represented in all levels of power. This means creating a lasting presence and influence within public and private institutions that have been traditionally inaccessible to those from within said community. Politics, by way of making our voices heard. Business, making sure we are supporting black businesses as much as possible. Real estate, buying back the block, prioritizing ownership and building pride in our own communities. Popular media like movies, TV shows, animation, music, video games, and comics. Places where we have made large strides in hearing our stories and seeing ourselves do things never before imaginable. Those who were sympathetic to the plight of the average black person in America repeated history by adopting the term woke in the guise of allyship and solidarity. Organizations, old and new, like the NAACP, self-proclaimed social justice warriors, modern feminists, the Pride movement, and most prominent of all, combining all these new age ideologies into one, the Black Lives Matter Association, by promoting policies, hiring practices, and education systems that are more inclusive and equitable for all so-called oppressed groups, and taking away from the focal point that is and always was the black population.
Alright, y'all went in, fellas. So let me conclude with this. The rise of this new age woke movement was obviously meant to be a step in the right direction, but like clockwork, American history came full circle, as misguided outsiders took it upon themselves to champion for the black community and convoluted the original purpose of staying woke. Where it was a way for people to stay informed, engage in positivity by promoting knowledge and intelligence, it became an opportunity to project personal grievances and retaliate towards certain demographics labeled as part of the problem. Thus, helping to improve social economic conditions as well as inspire lasting change to make a real difference, turned into the opportunity to promote unhealthy behaviors and refinance the lifestyle of self-proclaimed influencers, the so-called movers and shakers of today, who every so often need to challenge and subvert expectations when unnecessary. So long as this movement continues to strive for its goals in extremity, it's likely to incur the wrath of those who are willing to embody the recoil, the equal and opposite reaction. In come the rise of the anti-woke movement, cloaking themselves as a necessary evil, unwilling to die as heroes, but more than willing to live long enough as metaphorical anti-villains. If you've made it all the way to this point in this video, thank you and congratulate yourselves, because it means you are part of the 0.01% of those who have the fortitude to finish what they started. Stay tuned for part 2 of this 3-part video series that will be airing soon on Back on the Bus's channel.
So make sure you head on over to our channel and subscribe after dropping a like on this video and subscribing to Sleven. That way you can stay locked in when the next part of the mini-series drops, looking into the current state of the woke movement.
You know the vibes. It's Kaizoku Sleven. Appreciate you.